On this day in history, January 24th, 41 AD, Claudius is proclaimed Roman Emperor by the Praetorian Guard after they assassinate the previous emperor, his nephew Caligula. Included in the following is an excerpt from the 1944 edition of the Encyclopaedia Britannica summarizing the life of Claudius. Claudius, also known as Tiberius Claudius Drusus Nero Germanicus, Roman Emperor, AD 41-54, son of Drusus and Antonia, nephew of the Emperor Tiberius and grandson of Livia, the wife of Augustus, was born at Lugdunum, Lyon, on August 1st, 10 BC. He was kept in the background by Augustus Tiberius, owing to his physical infirmities and apparent weakness of intellect, and lived in retirement. It was probably at this time that he became dependent on the company of freedmen. Under Caligula, he became more prominent, holding the consulship, AD 37, and other public posts. Though he was the emperor's butt, many people at Rome must have realized that he might succeed. On the murder of Caligula, Claudius, though not of the Julian genes, was made emperor by the Praetorians, who were rewarded with a large donative, and were probably increased in number. Claudius, though abnormal, was by no means the idiot that our hostile sources would suggest. Despite his pedantry, he had a certain shrewdness, and wished to govern well. In the earlier part of his reign, he extended the boundaries of the empire. Mauritania was subdued and annexed in 43, and in the same year Claudius himself took part in the famous expedition to Britain, which gave the Romans a footing in the south of the island. In 44, Judea, which had been entrusted to King Agrippa, was made once more a province, and in 46 the same fate overtook the client kingdom of Thrace. In his dealings with the provincials, Claudius, despite senatorial opposition, reverted to Julius Caesar's liberal policy. We possess part of his speech proposing that the chieftains of the Aedui should be admitted to the Senate, and his edict conferring citizenship on the Anauni. A large number of municipia and colonies in the provinces owe their origin to Claudius. The reign of Claudius is marked by the development of the emperor's personal service. There was an extension of procuratorial government in the provinces, including Thrace, Mauritania, and Judea, and provincial procurators were granted jurisdiction equal to that of the emperor in all cases related to the fiscus. A definite scale of salaries was also instituted, but even more notable was the increased power of the emperor's freedmen, who, while they remained his personal servants, became, in practice, powerful ministers, and received great rewards and honors. The rule of the freedmen, who, though efficient, were arrogant and corrupt, was resented by the nobility, but the practice was continued under later emperors, though not to the same extent. Another grievance was the increased importance of the emperor's private court. Under Augustus and Tiberius, its use had been restricted to certain cases of majestas, but Claudius had a passion for acting as judge. Vast numbers of cases were heard in camera, and the emperor's methods seem often to have been capricious. His public works include a new harbor at Ostia, the draining of the Fucine Lake, and the construction of two aqueducts, Aqua Claudia and Anio Novus. His revival of the censorship and extension of the pomerium may be quoted rather as examples of his antiquarianism than as practically important. In 47 he celebrated the Ludi Secularis. In the latter part of his reign his government degenerated, and he fell entirely under the influence of his favorites and his womankind. He had married, as his third wife, Messalina, who, in 47, if we are to believe Tacitus, actually went through a form of marriage with Silius unknown to Claudius. Narcissus brought about her execution, and at the prompting of Pallas, the a nationibus, Claudius married his niece Agrippina, a marriage which shocked Roman sentiment. She induced him to set aside his own son Britannicus and to adopt as heir Nero, her son by a former marriage. Claudius died suddenly in 54, poisoned, according to Tacitus, by Agrippina. He was deified, but Seneca's satire, the Apocolocyntosis, expressed the relief felt at his death. Claudius wrote several historical works, Magus inepti quam ineleganter, including his own autobiography, but all, unfortunately, are lost.